Hello everyone, welcome back to my video here on Play on GAA with me, Seamus Brady. In this video, this is my preview and my prediction for who will win the TÁILTEANN Cup final in 2022 between CAVAN and Westmeath. I'm going to break through really the strengths and weaknesses of both of these teams, how they've got to this stage, and then who I think is going to win. But before I do, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. That really helps us out. And let's crack on with this video. So starting with CAVAN. So, of course, CAVAN this season, they won Division 4. How they ended up in Division 4 in the first place was a joke, but they won Division 4. Not as convincing as I thought they would. I mean, they rarely put a beating on anyone, but they kind of just did enough to win every game. And in the final against Tip, they got a scare. Stephen Quirk hit the crossbar in the last minute. CAVAN won the title by 2 points and were Division 4 champions. But they followed that up with victory in the Ulster quarter-final against Antrim by 120 to 10 points. And this was an Antrim side that I actually quite fancied to give them a game. I mean, Enda McGinley had really revived Antrim football, and he had them going in a really strong direction. They had also been promoted from Division 4, and they'd been contesting promotion from Division 3. But Antrim just never showed up in this game. CAVAN were fantastic. Gearóid McKiernan got the goal, and they really put Antrim away with minimal fuss. Then they went into the Ulster semi-final against Donegal. Of course, a team that had been very successful in the Ulster Championship over the last few seasons, but CAVAN had beaten them in the Ulster final in 2020. So there was an air of people thought that game in 2020 was a bit of a fluke. There was something in the air that just backed CAVAN. CAVAN showed in this game, in my opinion, that it was not a fluke. Even though Donegal beat them by 216 to 16 points, CAVAN were right there with them right up until the last few minutes, until Donegal got that second goal. That really put the game to bed. So CAVAN then knocked out, and the fact that they were not in the Division 2 next season or in the provincial final meant that they were knocked out of the All-Ireland Championship and into the TÁILTEANN Cup. But straight away, they were almost unbackable favourites. Everyone was backing CAVAN to win the TÁILTEANN Cup. They've all-stars throughout their team: Raymond Galligan, Pádraig Faulkner, and Thomas Galligan. So a lot of people were saying straight away, yeah, CAVAN are going to do this. They've the likes of Gearóid McKiernan, and Paddy Lynch has come onto the scene this season. He's been amazing. Kieran Brady is a player that I think is fantastic as well. Conor Moyna, all-star nominee from a few years ago. So everyone was saying, yeah, CAVAN are definitely going to win the TÁILTEANN Cup. And they backed it up because in the first game, they beat down by 24 points to 112. Then in the quarterfinal, they beat Fermanagh by 216 to 13 points. Then the semi-final, they beat Sligo by 20 points to 114. Overall, this season, they have kicked 396 with an average of 118. In the TÁILTEANN Cup, they've kicked 260 with an average of 119. And overall, they've conceded 465 with an average of 112. And in the TÁILTEANN Cup, they've conceded 239 with an average of 112 as well. Their top scorers in chief have been Gearóid McKiernan with 127 of those have been frees. Paddy Lynch has hit 22 points, including frees. Raymond Galligan has hit 11 frees. Jared Smith has hit 10 points, and Thomas Galligan has also hit 1-7 from midfield or half forward. So the big players have been excellent. Big shout out as well to GAA Statsman, providing all the stats. If you need anything GAA stats related, he is the place to go. So CAVAN there, McKiernan is on form. He's on fire. He's been their best player, as well as Paddy Lynch in the forward line. He's been magnificent. Westmeath, on the other hand, so they finished third in Division 3. They failed to get out of Division 3. They wouldn't necessarily be over the moon with that, but they've been solid. Then in the championship, they beat Longford by 313 to 14 points in the Leinster quarter-final before losing to Westmeath, putting up a good showing, but losing by 121 to 215 after a bit of a mad game in Croke Park. So into the TÁILTEANN Cup, Westmeath went as well. And I actually did put Westmeath as my second best team in the power rankings. If you look at an earlier video here on Play on GA, myself and Luke put, I believe it was CAVAN first, Offaly second, Westmeath third. I put CAVAN first, Westmeath second, and Fermanagh third. I thought Fermanagh had something a bit about them that they could be potential contenders, especially after their performance against Tyrone. But in the TÁILTEANN Cup, Westmeath beat Laois in the first game by 113 to Laois's 13 points. Sam McCartan getting the goal in that game. Then they squashed the Carlow momentum by 121 to 213 after Carlow had knocked out Tipperary. Then in the semi-final, they beat Offaly by 322 to 216, and they were devastating going forward that day. Lorcan Dolan hit 2 goals as they go into the Tailteann Cup final. Overall, they've scored 10 goals and 84 points with an average of 217. In the Tailteann Cup, they've hit 556 with an average of 218. They've conceded overall 577 with an average of 115. And in the Tailteann Cup, they've conceded 442 with an average of 1 goal and 15 points per game. Their scorers in chief have been John Heslin with 231, Ronan O'Toole with 210, Sam McCartan with 111, Luke Loughlin with 11 points, and Lorcan Dolan with 2 goals and 3 points. So for Westmeath, Heslin is key. Heslin is absolute king. Ronan O'Toole has come along this season in particular. This has been his real breakout season. He's been playing for Westmeath for a couple of years, but he's been amazing this season. He's been absolutely flawless. He was excellent in the semi-final against Offaly. He stitched the play together superbly. Sam McCartan is one that I really like. He can pretty much play anywhere. Ronan Wallace at centre-back is a real powerhouse of a runner for Westmeath. Lorcan Dolan is a deadly inside finisher. Luke Loughlin as well is very, very good. How do these sides match up? The key matchups as well, as I mentioned, John Heslin, Ronan O'Toole, Sam McCartan, Ronan Wallace, Lorcan Dolan, Luke Loughlin, they're all going to have to keep an eye on from Cavan. Gerard McKinnon, Paddy Lynch, Thomas Galligan, they're the ones really that Westmeath have to watch. So who is going to pick up who? Gerard McKinnon slots in anywhere from, midfield to centre forward to wing forward, but he's central to Cavan's play. And I can see Ronan Wallace just going toe to toe with him, because Ronan Wallace is an absolute tank and the engine he has on him is excellent. And he can go up and down, up and down. I can definitely see James Dolan picking up Jared Smith, who has been really, really good for Cavan at wing forward. I can see Jonathan Lynham and Ray Kennellan just going toe to toe with Thomas Galligan and James Smith, which is an epic battle there. I mean, fantastic battle. Kevin Maguire picking up Paddy Lynch is going to be very interesting as well, because Kevin Maguire is a fantastic fullback. Paddy Lynch has been amazing at full forward this season. So them two going toe to toe is going to be a treat for us. On the flip side, I can see Pádraig Faulkner picking up John Heslin. I can see Killian Brady going on to, I would say, Lorcan Dolan, and then Jason McLaughlin picking up Luke Loughlin. Out in the half forwards, I can see Kieran Brady sweeping there as he usually does. Conor Moyna, I imagine, will pick up Sam McCartan. But, I mean, I could be wrong with all of these. There could be a wild card, like Aidan O'Shea marked Kieran Donaghy in the semi-final. There could be a wild card that no one sees coming, which then brings me on to who I think is going to win this game. Again, if you watch my prediction for Kerry versus Dublin, I'm just going to stick to what I said at the start of the season. I said Cavan would win it, and I have to back it. Westmeath looked phenomenal in the semi-final of the Tailteann Cup, and I'm less sure, having seen the semi-finals, that Cavan are going to win this, because Sligo made loads and loads of chances, and they hit the post with a goal chance. And Westmeath showed in the Offaly game they were so clinical. They got a chance to go bang in the back of the net. And they've played at Croke Park way more than Cavan have. Cavan haven't played in Croke Park apart from the league final since 2020, where they played against Dublin in the semi-final. So Westmeath have a bit more experience of playing in Croke Park than Cavan do. And when Cavan were there, they barely got over the line against Tipperary. And if Westmeath were playing against Tipperary, I would back Westmeath to win. So it's a really, really tricky one. Cavan tend to drop their level and then raise it as they go up. I'm very unsure about this one. I really am. They are the two best teams in the Tailteann Cup this year, hence why they're in the final. But they really were. Like, there was no sense of that either of these teams knocked out a team in the semi-final that was better than them. They both had decisive victories in the semi-final. Sligo pushed Cavan a bit more than Offaly pushed Westmeath. But the more I'm talking about it, the more I'm unsure, because Westmeath were so clinical and Cavan were cut open at the back by Sligo. But I just think Cavan just maybe have a little bit more. Again, I could see extra time. I could see penalties. I really could. I think they're that tightly matched. I'm going to go with Cavan, but just about, I'm saying 1 point win after extra time. That's our penalties. I really think it's going to go right down to the wire, right down the stretch. And Cavan just have a little bit more experience of getting over the line in finals. They did it in Division 4. They just got over the line. They just did enough. They did the same in the Ulster final against Donegal a few years ago. So I'm just going to go Cavan. but I wouldn't be surprised if Westmeath win. That's my prediction. That's my preview. Let me know what you think. Get involved in the discussion down in the comments below, and check out all the other previews here on Play On GAA. And until next one, take care.